I have with me today Vince Cable, who is the Shadow Chancellor for the Liberal Democrats, and he's here in Winchester to launch the Hampshire Road to Recovery Conference. Vince, everybody knows the budget deficit is huge and there are massive cuts coming. What cuts will the Liberal Democrats make and how will they protect frontline services?
I've been identifying with Nick Clegg some of the economies that are going to have to be made because the deficit is way out of control, but it's got to be done on a properly planned priority basis, not just making swinging cuts all over the place. Public sector pay is the obvious place to start. Tax credits that go right up to people on $50,000 a year, the Child Trust Fund, looking at defence contracts, cancelling Eurofighter, the Trident renewal, taking out some of the tiers of bureaucracy that exist overseeing local government, the National Health Service, and quite a lot else, and we've itemised these. But in the short run, it would be very foolish to rush into very rapid cuts now when the economy is still very fragile.
Liberal Democrats have spoken a lot about fair taxes.
What we suggest is that people at the bottom end of the scale on an average income, they should actually pay less tax. In fact, we want to lift the threshold to about £10,000 a year. That will lift 3 to 4 million people out of tax altogether, and people on standard rate tax would pay £700 a year on average less. So we want tax cuts at the bottom end of the scale, and people who are very well off can pay a bit more, and that includes, as we suggest, a small additional tax, 1% on the value of property over 2 million.
Hampshire Conservative MPs have been in a lot of hot water over MPs' expenses, and now we've got the scandal of the Ashcroft millions. What will the Liberal Democrats do to clean up politics, and what can you say to convince Conservative voters that they should come and vote Liberal Democrat?
We've got to have a much more disciplined system of party funding with strict limits on individual contributions, on spending during elections and between elections. We've got to clean up the whole system. I think in terms of voters, I think a lot of people who might consider themselves Conservatives are not happy with what's happening. David Cameron's, put up a good image, but has not changed. We don't really know what he stands for, and I think there's a real frustration that despite the enormous opportunity the Conservatives have been given by a discredited Labour government and Gordon Brown, they haven't seized it. We don't know what they would do if they were in office, and I think we're much clearer about how to get the economy right, how to clean up politics, and a lot of those former Conservative voters will be switching to us.